Welcome. Good morning again. My name is Jim Bolte, and I'm the chairman of the Chamber of Commerce for Huntsville, Madison County. And when I'm not doing that, I'm the president of the Toyota motor manufacturing plant that we have here in Huntsville. Today we honor 50 years of collaboration, research, and progress in what has become the nation's second largest research park. The legacy of Cummings Research Park is rooted in some of the greatest technological achievements in history. And today we honor that tradition while looking ahead to the continued evolution of the park. Adtran is a breathtaking success story for this community and has been a staple in Cummings Research Park for more than 25 years. This facility stands as a 1.2 million square feet testament to the beauty and success of this great park. And now I'd like to ask our host from Adtran, Senior Vice President of Global Operations, Mike Foliano, to come up and make a few comments. Please welcome Mike.
On behalf of Adtran and our employees around the world, I'd like to welcome you to our global headquarters here in Cummings Research Park. We're proud to have you here on our campus, and we're proud to be able to host this 50th anniversary event. Adtran really has a unique history, and that history is tied very tightly with Cummings Research Park. As most of you probably know, we're a telecommunications and data networking equipment company that, after the last 25 years, has been continuously profitable. There aren't too many companies in the world that can say that, especially that work in a marketplace that's as volatile as the telecom market and the technology markets. In those last 25 years, Adtran has been able to achieve consistent growth throughout that period, and really Cummings Research Park has done the same. You've seen the same kind of consistent growth that is the hallmark of what's now the second largest research park in the country. We started here with 7 founding members, and now we have more than 2,200 employees around the world, with about 1,750 on this very campus. So I think that is a remarkable achievement. Today, we sell more than 2,000 products, and just about every one of those was designed and developed by engineers and technical personnel right here on this campus. We serve 1,000 customers around the world, shipping into 50 different countries, and a lot of that product is actually made and shipped from Huntsville, Alabama. So we're extremely proud of that. If you think about that for a moment, though, how did we get here? Right? How did we get to the position that we're in today? Adtran's founders, those 7 guys, were really sold on Cummings Research Park as the place to do business. You may have noticed if you came up the south stairway here, there's a quote from Mark C. Smith, who's our former chairman and chief executive officer. The quote that's on the wall down there says, "We're in the right place, we're in the right industry, and we have the right people." Right place, right industry, and right people. Those of you who knew Mark know that he was a superb engineer and also a top-notch businessman. Mark was the one that selected the right industry, but after that he relied on Cummings Research Park to be the right place and also to provide the right people. The quality of the technical personnel that are here in Cummings Research Park is second to none. Since that time, Cummings Research Park has been a key component in Adtran's business strategy, and it really has provided a solid foundation for our growth. On a more personal note, I've lived in a lot of places and worked in a lot of places. I've worked on the East Coast and the West Coast and the Midwest and the Southwest and even in South America. And across that time, I really have not found a community that is more business friendly or has a better quality of life than we see here in Huntsville and Madison County. And a lot of that is due just to Cummings Research Park and the ability that we have here to allow businesses to grow. Once again, welcome to all. It's a beautiful day. I'm honored to be a part of this ceremony, and Adtran is honored to be a part of Cummings Research Park and to be able to share this day with you. Thank you.
but it's been 32 great years of working with Cummings Research Park, the leaders who helped develop this park long before I came, and the shoulders on whom we stand, and this park stands. It's been a great tradition to be a part of carrying on for these years. And I remember the first year I was in office, we had, in 1981, we had some serious issues with the local schools, funding issues. And we were concerned, obviously, as was the city and the county and everyone involved in education, to do the right thing. And in order to do the right thing, it meant creating more revenue. In order to create more revenue, the only option this community had at that time was a sales tax, which none of us wanted to address. The first person who came to my office to talk to me from the business community regarding a sales tax for education was Joe Moquin. Joe came in and said, I speak on behalf of the leaders in Cummings Research Park. We're committed to education, we're committed to this community, and we're committed to you all if you do this. And believe me, it was not an easy decision. But because of the encouragement and the support and the courage of the business community led by Cummings Research Park, we found more money for education. And again, we built on the foundation that was laid by those early mentors and the creators of the businesses in this park. There's no question about the economic impact in our community from Cummings Research Park. And Nancy, I know you and your family could not be prouder, and we couldn't be more proud of what you all, the vision that your father and others had for our community. But the economic impact is really, in my opinion, one of the minor issues for Research Park. We are a better community in every way because of what Research Park has meant from education, from the quality of life and the cultural standpoint, and in every area of our community. So congratulations for those of you who are here in the park. Encourage more growth. Tommy, I think, has more land to sell and would like to do that. But we on the County Commission are extremely proud to have been a small part of the development here. And I know with Dale's leadership, it's going to continue, and I look forward to seeing more growth in the future.
And we have. Madison has grown so dramatically over the course of the last 30 years, and this park is the major reason along with the schools. You know, it comes down in the realty world, it's location, location, location. And just past those trees right there is Madison. But we wouldn't have grown that dramatically had there not been the vision and the foresight 50 years ago. And I think that's what's so impressive to me, is that a business community at that point 50 years ago realized this is how we take ourselves to the next level. And I can tell you in 1988, when I moved down here, Research Park was the primary point of the tour. They came in and showed us, look what's here. And to me, even as someone at that point fairly young and not very business-minded, what stuck out to me is all the businesses that were here and the synergy that you could just see that was occurring. I can tell you now, coming into the mayor's office, where I understand what that synergy means. And Mike talked about it. When the community needs something, this group in Research Park gets together, defines what needs to be done, and then sets forth in making it happen. So I salute the vision that was 50 years ago. And I want to thank the committee that's been working diligently. I know Nancy Clark from our office has been a part of that in talks about the celebration, because this truly is something to celebrate, the success that we've had. And I can't imagine what the next 50 years will be. So on behalf of the City of Madison and our City Council, thank you and congratulations.
You know, today is a very special day for the City of Huntsville. 5 generations ago, 5 decades ago, 5 generations of mayors ago, we decided to put our capital into this research park. Tens of millions of dollars were put into this park in both infrastructure and land costs. And we put it in because we wanted to put money in for the future of Huntsville. In the 1980s, we put it in for those 15,000 workers who were sitting out here. In 2000, we put it in for those 25,000 workers that were working here. And today, we have put that money into this park, and we have put that investment into this park so that we can employ 30,000 people. And those 30,000 people, they don't live just necessarily in the city of Huntsville. They live in the city of Huntsville. They live in the city of Madison. They live in Madison County. They live throughout this 14-county North Alabama area. And it is an investment in the future of our whole area. And it's been done over 5 decades by the city of Huntsville. So we thank each of you. It's been a great partnership, and that partnership has been a great public-private partnership. When we've needed a pad built for a company that was coming in, we've gone to the county commission and we've talked to them, and they have been our partner in doing that. When we've needed to work with an educational university, we started talking to Dr. Altenkirk and started talking to UAH and people who were there many years before, and it was a partnership. When we needed someone to buy additional land out here and the city needed help in doing that, we went to the UAH Foundation, who was part of that partnership, who made this happen. So for 5 decades, we have been in a public-private partnership, a partnership with our community, and that partnership has proven to be the economic development engine for this whole area. So we thank each of you for coming out today. We're very proud of Cummings Research Park because it is one of the shining stars of Alabama. Thank you.
Our first recipient is the Cummings Research Park Board of Directors. They've played and continue to play an integral role in helping manage all aspects of growth and development in the park. Through its collective knowledge and expertise, the CRP Board continues to sustain the vitality that has allowed Cummings Research Park to become one of the leading research parks in the world. I now ask Cummings Research Park Board Chairman Charlie Granger to please come forward and accept a proclamation from Mayor Battle. It's a great time to take pictures, if you'd like to do that. Thank you very much. When you study the history of Cummings Research Park, its beginnings are rooted in supporting NASA in manned space exploration. The beginnings of this park are intrinsically tied to visionary scientist Dr. Wernher von Braun and his team of scientists and engineers that designed, built, and tested the rockets that would take America to space, land a man on the moon, and return him safely to the Earth. This mission was a tipping point in the development of Cummings Research Park, and I ask new NASA Marshall Space Flight Center Director Patrick Sherman to come forward and accept a proclamation for NASA Marshall Space Flight Center's critical role in the development of CRP. Paparazzi, yeah, there we go. The U.S. Army at Redstone has been instrumental in developing and managing some of the most important programs for the U.S. military. In fact, it was the U.S. Army at Redstone that first put the United States into space. Since that time, the U.S. Army at Redstone has increasingly turned to its support network in Cummings Research Park as the depth and scope of its many global missions has increased. I would like to ask Major General Lynn Collier, Commanding General of the U.S. Army Aviation and Missile Command, to please come forward and accept the proclamation for the Army's role in helping develop the nation's second largest research park. When President Kennedy issued the challenge to send man to the moon, the primary response to the challenge was made in Huntsville. And one local company understood that challenge and sought to expand in an area that could be developed into a true research and science park. That company was Brown Engineering, today known as Teledyne Brown Engineering. The fact that the park was later named after former Teledyne Brown president and CEO Milton Cummings serves as a great tribute to the path that Mr. Cummings and Joe Moquin of Teledyne Brown forged for so many others to follow. On behalf of Mr. Cummings, Mr. Moquin, and the founding company in the park, I'd like to ask Teledyne Brown Engineering President Rex Jevedin to accept a proclamation for the company's pioneering role in the creation of Cummings Research Park. When you look at the impact a research park has on a community, much of the success is dependent on a world-class research university. The University of Alabama, Huntsville is that world-class research center, and the synergy that continues to flow between the park and its anchor tenant is obvious. In a community that features the highest ratio of engineers of any in the nation, The role that UAH has played in the growth and development of Cummings Research Park and its workforce cannot be overstated. I now ask UAH President Dr. Bob Altenkirk to please come forward and accept the proclamation to celebrate the impact that the University of Alabama Huntsville has made on CRP and the community. When the park opened in 1962, a group of community and business leaders were able to see the vision of Dr. Warner von Braun and the space program, and were able to accomplish what was necessary to support von Braun's mission, develop land for the new park companies, and help grow UA Huntsville into a research university. Community leaders like Ray Jones and many others helped to influence the growth of both the park and the university, and that legacy continues 50 years later. At this time, I'd like to ask UAH Foundation Chair Dag Rowe to please come forward and accept a proclamation for UAH Foundation's undeniable impact on the growth of Cummings Research Park.
Whenever I do travel to Montgomery and begin to work with my colleagues concerning economic development for our state, they like to talk to me about the next automotive industry that perhaps is going to be coming, or the next airplane manufacturer. Of course, I do let them know we have room up here for more automotive initiatives. However, I like to tout exactly what we have right here in Research Park and what we have right here in our backyard, and that's the importance, what I believe is a national strategic importance to our nation, security of our nation, with what happens, the research and development that goes on right here that is transferred onto Redstone Arsenal, that is transferred to NASA, to the Army, and projected globally. It's just an amazing ability that we have all collectively right here. And it's also this community of communities that North Alabama has become. We have employees that come to this park daily from across North Alabama, but as well as from Tennessee, that come and work and play and spend their tax dollars right here in North Alabama. So those are all very great things that we're very excited about and continue to look towards. As Tommy, I understand there's a few more vacancies, so as we look to grow other industries here. I have a Senate resolution that I'm going to present, as well as a proclamation from the governor. I'm going to read the proclamation from the governor from the state of Alabama. Whereas Huntsville Research Park opened in 1962, and in 1973 it was renamed Cummings Research Park after visionary business leader Milton Cummings, and whereas Cummings Research Park was founded to help support the nation's most important aerospace and defense programs at NASA and the U.S. Army at Redstone Arsenal, and was a critical partner in putting America into space and mankind on the moon. And whereas Cummings Research Park has become a catalyst of high-tech job growth and has grown to be the second largest research park in the United States with more than 300 companies and 25,000 employees. And whereas over the past 50 years, the state of Alabama has invested nearly $250 million in the growth of Cummings Research Park. And whereas the total payroll from employment in Cummings Research Park is nearly $2 billion a year, generating $280 million annually in state and local taxes from direct and indirect employment. And whereas Cummings Research Park is a key economic development asset in the state of Alabama. Now therefore, I, Robert Bentley, Governor of Alabama, do hereby proclaim October 15th, 2012 as a day for the citizens of Alabama to honor 50 years of collaboration, research, and progress at Cummings Research Park. Given under my hand, the state of Alabama, Robert Bentley. Mayor, can I present to you?
Hold for a picture there.